IP, intellectual property, has become a buzzword in India these days. Everyone, be it ministers, even our prime minister, business owners, academic institutions, everyone is talking about intellectual property. But the question remains, if the current government has done something significant in this space, and if India is aligned to become in the league of top IP savvy countries in the near future. In 2014, the IP landscape of India was entirely different than what it is in 2024. Watch this video till end, in which I have discussed the growth of IP in India with the top people from the academic institutes to uncover the past, present, and future of IP in India. So, if we compare the growth of IP in the country in the last 10 years vis-a-vis in the last 70 years, or in other words, we compare the IP journey of Modi era with pre-Modi era. So what do you think this government has done in last 10 years, and what changes you have seen in the IP industry, in the IP regime, your personal experience? Maybe we can start with Dr. Runjun and go to other speakers.
Thank you for considering me for this question. Yes, Modi government has done a lot. This was the only government which came up with the IP policy first. And seeing that IP policy, the universities were also motivated to have an IP policy on their own so that students and faculty can use it wisely.
True, true. Now we are gradually moving towards that direction, and I'm sure if with the right policies, India will be one of the
Yes.
top IP filing country very, very soon. Thank you, Dr. Ranjan.
Yes, yes. Surely, surely. We are on that path.
Dr. Purushottam, would you like to say anything?
You see, if you want to achieve any substantial progress or impact, what is important is a good policy and an implementation team for that policy to be implemented. So, as a part of the policy, we should have a mechanism to identify these innovative ideas across all levels. Definitely, we can, with our kind of a population, definitely we can exceed China's patent filing. They file 16, 17 lakhs per year. I think we can definitely file much more than China, provided if we have a proper policy and supported by adequate resources and implementing teams. That is what is required.
Right, sir. And how much credit you would like to give to present government in terms of revising the IP regime in the country?
There's no doubt. They get 100 out of 100 marks for the kind of efforts they put in, and the Prime Minister himself talking about IP in various forums and motivating people. Definitely, you can see the patent filings itself, compared to 10 years and now, the growth at which the patent filings are growing. And tremendous efforts have been put in by the government. But as stakeholders, we also need to reciprocate the same kind of energy levels, whatever best we could do, give it to our institutions. I think India will be far ahead of all others in this domain.
Right, right. And I think Dr. Shushma has to add into these lines how much credit you would like to give, ma'am, to present government for
Sir,
driving the overall thing in the country.
yeah, sir, I feel the government is going in a very, very methodical manner. First, the government focused on innovation. So they actually started a lot of innovation centers across the country. And in the country now, there are about 20 odd innovation centers, which are like hubs. And I'm very happy to share with you that our college is also part of that. We also have a design innovation center. And so that actually creates an enabling environment, and it provides you resources also to innovate. And only when you innovate will you worry about the second step is about how to protect it. So the government has made changes in that. The third thing which government has done is also, bringing in a national education policy. Now, national education policy, it is a very, very holistic kind of in an educational program wherein there is so much of focus on value added courses. And I give full credit to the government that government is really really going in a very planned manner.
Right. Thank you. And I will extend this question to Dr. Shivani now.
Interesting question, Vivek sir. And when we are talking about the ecosystem building, because this is very, very important that what as an individual institution I'm doing matters, but as a country, what we can do matters a lot. So this is something very, very important question that how this IPR ecosystem is being backed by the current government or the BJP government, I would say. So I think it is very, very important to talk about the outcome. So as the innovation and the specifically the startup ecosystem has been backed by the present government, and the even the IPR IP for startups are being promoted and also being provided multiple benefits and the lesser time to get the the grants. I believe that is very, very important step, because patent karna kyun hai is important, or patent karke I can build up startup in a lesser time. I think that is one of the commendable thing which has been started by the BJP government. So I think this is very, very important step. And if I say yes, Nepal, you can see different initiatives we can see where a lot of awareness program has been run by the government, and a lot of student and teachers has attended just because they are getting the certificates. I believe that attracted a lot of people to be part of Nipam Yatra and the awareness yatras. So I believe that is one thing, and I have seen a lot of hackathons and ideathons which has been supported by the current government, and I think that is the best platform to fuel up the innovation. And the kind of huge prizes has been given by the government to the winners of such ideathons, and that is one thing which we are doing. And we are able to do this because this idea came with the hackathons, Smart India hackathons, kind of hackathons we attended. So I believe these are few points where I would say that the government is doing wonderful.
10 out of 10.
Thank you. 10 out of 10 to the government. Yes, of course.
Dr. Pavan, I think I would like to hear from you also on this part.
Yes, Vivek. About a decade back, Chinese used to file about 6 lakhs patents, and Americans from last decade onwards, they are almost at a level of saturation. They are filing about 5.5 to 6 lakhs patents. But when it comes to India, about a decade back, we used to file about 40 odd numbers. In 2012, around 42,000 patents were filed from India. But by 2023, we reached to the extent of 90,000 at least. So this itself indicates a very huge jump in the filings. And the Prime Minister, he himself, in one of the science congresses at 2020, mentioned that innovate, patent, produce, and prosper. These 4 steps will lead our country towards the growth. And even last month in Rajya Sabha, he mentioned, I see in the coming 5 years more number of record patents being filed than have been filed in the last 7 decades. So when the Prime Minister of the country himself puts a target of doubling the numbers in about 5 years, as a citizen of India, if each of us put some target, if we are relevant to this field, if there is a possibility from us, if we put some numbers as an individual, as an organization, and as a society at large, certainly we improve the numbers.
So from your side also, you are giving 10 out of 10 to this government for driving the IP ecosystem.
Absolutely.
So it was the first interesting question. And the second interesting question is, we are at a number of 1 lakh patent applications every year. What magical thing as the IP professional we can do, and what magical step government can take so that by 2025 we will overcome and become the number 1 IP filing country? I request each one of you, requesting from Dr. Pavan, very crisp, very clear, one right step taken by IP professionals or maybe by government.
I think, in my opinion, if we put patent filing as priority in place of making publications, certainly we can achieve this to the maximum extent. Because
so you are saying making patent filing
as a priority,
than filing the publications.
Advantage, they can get 1+1. So there is no loss to them and there is a greater advantage.
All right, all right. And I would request the answer from Dr. Purushottam.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question for me. But what I could think is we should touch base the grassroots innovators. The grassroots innovators, they have a lot of new ideas, but there is no one to really recognize them, support them.
Hmm.
So once you bring the grassroots innovators into this fold, they will contribute enormously to filing these patents and beating the Chinese number one position.
Rightly said, sir. Rightly said. And I think we all might have watched this Shark Tank series. And through this forum, I would like to highlight that most of our sharks never ask about the question related to IP. Do you have filed patent or not? Do you have protected or registered your
Yes,
design
yes.
trademark or not? I think if Shark Tank would add this question in their forthcoming episodes, I think that will solve a lot of things and that will make a difference. So, Dr. Shushma, any recommendation from your side?
Yeah. Like I was just thinking, as anyone who comes first in the class gets some kind of reward, some kind of medal. So anyone who innovates also gets some kind of reward in the form of some kind of hand holding or some kind of channelization that it will definitely lead that person to patenting their work. So that definitely will increase because there is so much of innovation happening in India.
I want to add another point, if you permit.
Yes, yes, sir.
You see, I think at least the first patent application should be filed free of cost. I think that would really generate that enthusiasm in the young minds. Everything, including the attorney's fees, someone has to pay the bill. The government has to take care of the total cost, filing or prosecution, everything. So
There are
you may evaluate it whether it meets the patentability criteria or not. Somebody should evaluate that. There should be some national agency or regional agencies, and the first application, the total cost should be, and it should be properly appreciated. Also, as Madam said, the patent, it should not be simply a document. It should carry some weight and social respect and some kind of a recognition in the society who giving some kind of an innovator.
right,
Such kind of an incentivization is required.
right, sir.
The third point is that, as Pawan says, publications. I think we are number 3 in the world in terms of publications. Had we attempted filing first the patent application, then go for a publication, probably all of them could have become even patents also. Maybe I think 34 lakhs, 35 lakh publications globally. India has that. We are number 3 in the world in terms of
Yeah, so
research
so
publications.
yeah, so for just to add to that, so each researcher definitely, must first patent and then publish. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
that
policy.
also could be made mandatory, and maybe, as I always say, you have to help the student because student will always feel, how do I go about it? Because it's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
mundane kind of a process. So they want to just, take a simpler path, ki publish kar dete, it's easier. So that has to happen. So we
Right, right.
have to have a policy for that.
And
We'll be able
in
to
addition
file
to that,
double or triple the Chinese applications, if you can
Right.
bring that kind of a shift or
Hmm.
tweaking. Uh, First, file your patent application, then go for publication. That simple one line policy
Yes,
change is sufficient to bring the change.
very true, very true. So for
yeah.
research as well as for innovation, both.
Yeah.
And I remember before Shark Tank, entrepreneurs were not the heroes. Startup
Yes.
founders were not the heroes in this country, but now they are. So I think maybe after Shark Tank, if we can have some sort of IP tank or maybe something else, wherein inventors who have filed the IP applications, who are the patent owners, are getting the rewards and recognition and the fame, I think the journey will start automatically.
You see, there is a problem here, Shark Tank and IP relation. You see, once you present your idea before the Shark Tank, it will be recorded. It goes into the public domain. And you will lose the patentability, the novelty aspect.
True,
That is also there is a problem. There should be some kind of a other mechanism where
Yeah.
it is evaluated.
But
Can I?
just to add to it, what Purushottam sir has said, if in that situation, sir, first of all, if the idea is not yet refined, at least a provisional application can be filed
Mm.
Ah,
in the clause, and
then
later
come
on.
here.
So to add to that, because in the patent office, whatever filings are being done after the patent is filed, maybe either a program or some kind of recognition of the person who's filed the patent. Maybe it could be made brought in public domain. So that also definitely makes that person a hero. That look, this person has done this. So if we
Right.
can highlight that in that way, so instead of capturing people here because who are at the other end of it, but people who are filing their IPRs, you can really capture them and you can actually put them together. So that definitely will help.
Okay, all right. Thank you. And I think now we are towards the end of the session, but thank you everyone for joining this webinar. And thank you, Dr. Purushottam. Thank you, Dr. Shushma. Thank you, Dr. Runjhun. Thank you, Dr. Kavita, Dr. Shivani, Dr. Pavan for your time and valuable inputs. And last but not the least, thank you all the participants for joining us in this webinar. If you have found this video insightful, please share it further and subscribe to this channel so that you will be updated about the forthcoming content around IP. Thank you for watching.